in the Cat Sitting Diaries. And this is starring Simon. He's no butler. A woman being all she can be in her femininity, and a man being all he can be in his masculinity. Both of them knowing that, just like the yin and yang symbol, the outer has within it the opposite of which it sees in itself, its reflection, the yin and the yang. And it makes that beautiful symbol, and it also pumps the engine of life. It keeps vitality, it keeps the earth alive. It's part of the right of being human, is this. To give you the tips that I've come up with that really work for me. Because if you're following my series, you know that I'm an adult child of a narcissist, that I grew up in a dysfunctional family without realizing it. From August 2022 to August 2024, which is now. In fact, August 22, it was actually 8/22/2022, which is pretty magnificent when I discovered all of this stuff, which was the final realization that my mother was the pathological narcissist and I was a conditioned child and I was blind to it, and all of my partners then were subsequently narcissists at varying levels. You know what I mean? And so there was a garden variety, and then there was the overt, grandiose, and then there was the vulnerable covert, which was the most dangerous of them all. Because it's the behavior of the narcissistic parent, it becomes normalized. There it is. You become kind of like that. That's what happens. It's crazy. The way you unbrainwash is to brainwash yourself in the opposite direction. It's like this. If you consider yourself as having a bad habit or a habit you want to actually stop doing, then rather than fighting against that habit, you replace it with another habit. You follow? So it's rather than fighting smoking, for instance. A person would light incense, or they would take up a daily habit of jump roping and make observations. So this is all about being all that you can be and really learning to love yourself and loving your creator, because life, it's so profoundly a gift. You have to build yourself because you were cheated of that development. 3 to 5 is an initiative versus guilt. So in this age group, I was negated. So I was already negated. So I feel guilt. There's a feeling of guilt just for your existence, just for having initiative. Industry versus inferiority. These are Erik Erikson's stages. That's going to create competency. And between all of this is purpose and competency. So if you got parents that are constantly coercing you, cajoling you, yelling at you, not even listening to you, they just want you to be a good child for them. You know, it's all about you behaving with their demands, but they have absolutely no interest in you. And you're gonna develop this part of yourself, okay? This is hardcore, man. That's why it's called fucking descending Mount Everest. And you're actually returning to your authentic self. You're returning to the self that was never recognized, never given voice to, and that it got hidden so much you don't even know where it is. And that's what we're getting to. And this has happened to so many people. I am shining the light. This is how we get out of this pit. And it's a pit of despair of what our parents did to us, but we have to do the heavy work. But we also have to be playful. You have to have that sense of adventure and possibility in this stage 5. And unless you have these other things built, this becomes difficult. So for me, I had a negative identity that was created by negative words that I was told about myself. What's really important when you're healing and learning to be alone for the first time, that is important. I call it flying solo. It's a scenic overlook and a loving opportunity to see who you really are. Yeah. You have to do all of this discovery because this was all cheated from you. So that's the heavy lifting. Talk about how online dating can be very demoralizing. It's not the best thing to do when you're still raw from a relationship and also from the discovery of the narcissistic abuse. So just avoid it while you're healing, because what you're doing really is emotional healing. It's very deep. It's soul healing. Remind yourself that your parents had black and white thinking. Their motivations were not to do what was best for you. It was for them to have dominance over you. Remember the mighty big one, Ombo? So seeking her approval, getting her endorsement, and then that's what then I would do with partners. Now, there's several ways you want to cultivate your inner life. And it's to journal in the morning. And I'm compiling, as we speak, a workbook to help people. This is it. Because we have to make this adventurous and fun. Helpful tips are breathing and stretching. And I had these kindergarten movement exercises that we used to do. Like bend and stretch, reach for the sky, stand on tippy toes ever so high, bend and stretch, that one. And you would bend and stretch, and then you would stand on your tippy toes once you stood up again, and you would be able to have a nice movement, and you were a kindergartner. I remember my kindergarten exercises. It's important to move the hips, and then create mindfulness. So we're gonna set the timer for 30 minutes, everybody. That's your exercise. Well, he's waiting for his food. Order a table 2. Here you guys go. guess I'll get your temptations. And this is video ending soon. And I will go through the other things that I journaled this morning, because we're going to talk about the voice of judgment, how it started, that inner critic, and how to actually control it, because it's not going to go away. And the reason why we use the head, which loops back to the beginning, we brainwash the brainwashing. We get into the brain and we find out why it was wired the way it was. And the voice of judgment is the inner critic, and that comes from having had criticism when you were a child most of your life. So that the very fabric of your being was criticized. All right? You feel me? Come with me on the journey, man. It's no walk on the beach. This is all me. What is it, Simon? Well, I'll let him enjoy himself. As long as he doesn't chew it. Yeah. Good one, Simon. Get it. Goodbye. Goodbye, Ricky. I'll see you again. It's been such a good visit. I'm honored to be your human friend.